Recently, a friend of mine told me about this new fighting game that was coming out for PS4, Steam, and the Nintendo Switch that he seemed pretty hyped for. He showed me gameplay and asked for my opinion. I liked it. It looked like a classic 2D fighter with some Guilty Gear touch-ups to make the game much more pretty to look at. But it would take a while for me to get interested in the game because I had no clue about it. As the days went by, however, I heard about how there were certain things being added to the game, and lo and behold, characters came out. What the fuck? Gunvolt, quote from Cave Story? Isaac from The Binding of Isaac? Fucking Shovel Knight? All these guys are from some of the best indie titles in the world, and now they're in a fighting game? Alright. That said, I'm a little curious now, and I decided to make this video to ask the question, how important are characters in a fighting game? I ask myself this question a lot nowadays, and compared to when I was growing up, I gotta say, it gets to me. I mean, think about it. When you pick up Street Fighter for the first time, who's the one character that you look for immediately after activating the game? All together now. 1, 2, 3... M. Bison. But, no. Well, you should. Psycho Power rules. Yes! Yes! Regardless, characters definitely say a lot about people and their personality and playstyle. But what exactly makes a character so compelling? There are a few things to look at, such as the looks, the culture, the franchise, the playstyle, the execution factor of the characters, and whether or not the characters are relevant or irrelevant to the series that they're in. I mean, looks can definitely tempt a person to pick up a character right from the get-go. When I started playing Mortal Kombat the first time, I was hesitant to try characters because there were so few of them. If you take a look at the character select screen, there's only 7 characters in there. I understand that back in '91, that was a lot, but still! This is why I would stick with Johnny Cage. I mean, that cocky, arrogant look on his selection picture spoke to me. And those were $500 sunglasses, asshole! That said, another thing that made me like Cage were a few other things. Like one of his moves...
Take that, idiot!
Johnny Cage wins.
Oh my god! I'm never having kids again. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Culture is also a factor to consider, as something so minuscule can alter your decision making with this. I mean, if you've seen movies and TV shows, you could take, for example, in Marvel vs. Capcom, you'd be quick to pick up on Spider-Man because, hey, look, he's been in the Marvel movies. He's been in a whole bunch of TV shows. We understand his comic book lore. They leave a lasting impression. Just make sure if you're playing Mortal Kombat, avoid Mortal Kombat Defenders of the Realm. It's already too late for me in that regard. But aside, culture can also be a little evident in characters like Law. Bruce Lee is a dominant figure in the world of martial arts, and when it comes to fighting games, it's no surprise that people are going to make tributes to him. Fei Long, you got Jackie Bryant, John Lee from Dead or Alive, Forrest and Martial Law, my mother. You just see the hair and you hear the "What's up?" It's him. Regardless of which game you play, he's there.
I said empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Be water, my friend.
Playstyle of these characters can also be a huge factor. Like simple characters like Ryu, they're easy to pick up, hard to master. And that's because he's a basic bitch fighter. And yes, I myself am also a basic bitch fighter, because I play Ryu, or Ken, or Akuma, or any Shoto in any fighting game, in any Street Fighter that you put in front of me, because I gotta learn the basics first. Then I'll move on. However, it also makes sense that M. Bison, when he was available for me to play, I found it kind of difficult because I couldn't like cater to that defensive playstyle. It really was very tough. I wanted to go in. I wanted to run head first into the people. And much like it, I dropped the character because I couldn't like the playstyle. But I loved the bad guy. How can you not? Other characteristics would be like a glass cannon, technical fighter. I say technical fighter, and I thought Bison was a tough cookie for me to crack. No. Oh, how naive I am. That being said, that brings up execution in that factor. If you can't execute your moves, you'll do one of two things. One, you'll either practice a character because dedication purposes, or two, you'll drop the character altogether. And that's never a good thing either. I would definitely recommend the first choice because I'll admit, bigger pain. However, nowadays gamers have jobs. Like me, searching for one. We don't have the time for a training stage. Fighting games while playing as a complex character can be a handful of knowledge. If you don't have the frame data, you don't know what the moves are, you don't know what their specials are, and anything else that is important to the character, you will lose a lot. And even a lot of matches that you know you could have won, you will lose because you picked a crappy character in your arsenal. Not a crappy character overall, in your arsenal. Now, with the minor reasons out of the way, there are two other aspects of characters that I wanted to talk about. And I especially believe that they impact fighters nowadays. And it's legacy characters and guest characters. Legacy characters have that recognition factor for longtime fans and enjoy playing the series, no matter what version they're on. Mostly. That said, while people can switch characters from time to time, if a character you know is in the game, it's more likely that you'll pick that character just for their existence in the game. For example, if I play Tekken, 9 times out of 10, I'll play Paul. I'm going to play Paul. There's no question about that. Paul's been in every single Tekken game, from the first one to this one, and he's always been fun to play against people. I mean, after all, who could deny Death Fist? Oh. Right. Anyway, that said, if characters like Noctis from Final Fantasy 15, along with his bros and chocobos, I want one, show up out of nowhere and say, "What's up?" I might try him out, and this is where the guests actually come into play heavily. For a casual fan, they might just buy the game outright just because one certain character is in there. I mean, you take a look at Blade Strangers and Shovel Knight's in there. My man, I'm buying that game. I don't care if the game is bad. I am buying it just because Shovel Knight is fucking in there. However, for the casual player also, as soon as they go online with no fighting game experience whatsoever, they'll, 9 times out of 10, they'll hang up the game back on their shelf and they'll never pick it up again. And that's sad. That's a video I'll have to make in the future. While the guests can also bring other people in, it's also a dual-edged sword because it's probably only going to be a one-time deal. Think about it. Snake from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, that's the only fighting game he's in. Quote, fighting game. People have that argument. And it's also due to game promotion, thank you Kratos and MK9, or system cooperation, thank you Link from Soul Calibur 2 for the GameCube. It was different for every version. But the one exception that I would think is definitely prevalent in fighters nowadays when it comes to guests is Smash Brothers. The roster for Smash 4 has been expanded to about 56 different characters from different Nintendo games, or spin-offs, or other branches, all while having that pure guest character mentality. Mario isn't known for being in Smash Brothers. Mario is being well known for being in Mario. Captain Falcon, while he's not in many F-Zero games and is now becoming a Smash staple, is best known for being an F-Zero character. No question. And no one else has done this, to my knowledge, other than Marvel vs. Capcom, but that's the one exception. And as long as Kirby is in Smash Brothers, you can bet your ass I'll play that game. So, with fighting games coming back up the rise after what was considered a brief hiatus for people, like a fighting game apocalypse, characters are everywhere. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom, KOF, Tekken, to Pocket Rumble, Rivals of 8-Bit, Brawlhalla, Skullgirls, and even Dong Dong Never Die. Characters are en masse and so apparent. So, if you're a fighting game veteran, or a casual who likes the games themselves, characters are important to you. So yeah, I guess I answered the question outright. So let me know in the comments y'all's 10 favorite characters. I saw this on Twitter and I wanted to put my input here. Alright, Paul, Yoshimitsu, Kirby, Ken, Johnny Cage, Kai Kisk, M. Bison, Spider-Man, Brad Burns, and Reptile. Oh, that was easier than I expected. So yeah, don't forget to hit that Psycho seal of approval, and subscribe for more, because now, I have graduated to college! And I am also planning to make more content for the future. Whether it be the gameplay, whether it be videos like this, whether it be vlogs in general. Yeah, I'm gonna be here for a while. So y'all have a good one. I will see you on the next video. Peace!